Oh, this would be my first experience with WuWa as a 5-year Hoyo player. With 5 years with Genshin, 2 years with Honkai Star Rails, around 1 year for ZZZ, and I guess like a month of Honkai Third. So yeah, this is my first time playing WoW, and this would be my experience with the first basically 2 hours of playing the game of my first stream, which I didn't get the audio for because of my stupid mistake. Uh, anyway, so yeah, hope you enjoy. From the beginning of the cutscene of this game, it's very similar to how HSR started then compared to Genshin or ZZ. Well, I'm gonna mostly be noting Genshin and HSR since ZZ has a different way how they do the story, you know. And anyway, the beginning cutscene for Genshin, of course, it's you with your sibling trying to leave the world, and what's notable about it, it's more similar to HSR with the well later down in the story where two people find you and they take you in the first part and then take you to their leader and go, and in this case would be Baiju. Baiju. Uh, I think it's it's a basic storyline. I don't think it's fair enough to say one copy the other, since that type of story is common with blank slate MCs. Like I think a good example would be Fire Emblem, and where it has two games and how it's a few of their main characters have amnesia, in which they get taken in by some nobles or some gang or mercenaries, where they, take you in and you become important player in that case. And just like all the other MCs, depending on which game, of course, you get to choose your name if it's blank MC. Example, I know some Fire Emblem games do let you choose your own games. I only played one, being Three Houses, and I got to choose the name there. And with all gacha games, I'm guessing, or the five I played, you get to choose the name for it, even though they have their own name, of course. And I know with Genshin, they do have their own names, and where you can't change it. Whatever you put, it will just be a fake name for Genshin. And with, I think, yeah, HSR, you get to choose the name they go by for now. Then their original names, Del, Callis. Yes, they truly don't have any memories of who they are, or they just get called Trailblazer. And the different case with ZZZ is they already have their own name, and whatever name you do choose is just their account name, something they go by as well, or just their work titles. In Genshin, it's Traveler, and HSR is Trailblazer, and in ZZ, it's Proxy. I won't say much about Honkai Third since I don't play much of it, and I don't have a good memory of my time playing it. So with WuWa, I will say that whatever name you do choose is their actual name, and the title they go by is Rover. So that's the interesting part. It's not, they don't have a set name. You actually get set it, unlike the other ones. Or in this case, it's similar to the Trailblazer, but not really. I also want to add how the facial expression in this game is pretty good, as well as the design of the game. It being different or similar anime style 3D game. That I will say it's different, very different compared to Genshin and HSR, with both having their own unique style and as well as Yuzi being more like a cartoony type style instead of trying to make it as realistic as they can be. But this one's a bit of a mix, which is good. Like it's its own unique identity. What I will follow up is the gameplay of it. It has the basic attack, running, plunging, gliding, and charge attack. Those are the basics. So what makes it unique? Oh, and, and switching between player characters and having teammates. 3 specifically in this one, while in Genshin and Star Rail being 4 and ZZ being the same with 3 and Honkai 3rd being the same with 3. And where, of course, it's more similar to Genshin ZZ than Honkai 3rd because the gameplay doesn't let you move at all. And since it's in 3D, I feel like the combat is more in common with ZZZ and in Honkai 3rd than Genshin, since Genshin mostly does rely on the elemental system, and where the normal attacks, well, depending on character's kit, of course, is mostly just that, while in ZZ and Honkai 3rd and WuWa, you had to try to mix in all the different movement options you have to fight and add in the mix of how the character works as well. As well with having other movement options like the hook, which is and double jump, where it gives you more height than Genshin, another open world that doesn't allow you that extra movement unless you're in a specific area or have a specific character that lets you go do that. And where it's definitely a lot more limiting there. I will say WuWa does this better than Genshin. As well with how they handle the stamina consumption. I didn't know that in the first 2 hours that you can actually extend your stamina. I thought that the one that already set was it, since running doesn't take any stamina and only sprinting the first jump and jumping, plunging, and climbing and wall running only takes stamina. And while normal movement options doesn't. So that was a bit of a surprise. And compared to Genshin, where even if you do run, it will just take it. And there's already a set amount that you can't extend after 3 statues, 7. Yeah. And where you need to explore a lot to improve your small, limited stamina bar. But another, I'm just adding some things to this. I feel like the jumping and WuWa is a bit odd to me. I guess it probably is a skill issue in trying to get used to just jumping height being a lot more than any of the. I was gonna say any of the other game, but I think it's a similar height to Honkai Third. But I didn't play much of it, so in Genshin, it's being higher than Genshin jumping height. And as well with whenever I do press it, if there's like a small delay to it compared to Genshin being instant. And I during my exploration of it, it did end up hindering me a bit with running, and then I need to jump to get the height to grab onto something. And it was more difficult in WuWa than I would have in all my years of exploring with Genshin. And aside from that, one problem, it's pretty good. I feel like since I'm in the beginning, there might be some characters that will also have similar options, like in Genshin, with some characters having a advantage in the overworld with their movement or have a special ability that adds to the current movement. Like in Genshin, with some characters having their in their character kit having extra movement options, being running, climbing, making a platform, making letting you go high with their skills, or letting you climb faster, and swimming too, and underwater swimming as well with Fontaine. And add in some other characters that don't have their in character kit. They have a sub skill within it, and that also gives you a boost, being the same things: running, climbing, swimming, gliding, and underwater, of course. Yes, and they can, well, not all of them. Some of them can be mixed together, and where, oh, and charge attack as well. Being Novelet and Arlecchino, more specific example of that. Mhm. I'll be showing all of it because I made like a chart on paper and recorded all of the with all the characters I have to show off, since a lot of characters 4 stars and 5 star do share that those abilities to help with exploration and easy to get being done in that case. But that's all I have for. No, I was wrong. I forgot the normal running speed of the other games being. Well, they aren't as important since they already give you fixed speed. And in ZZZ, it being limited to in world combat. Not in world, but in combat. With 2-3 characters being to do like a special run that may or may not be faster. And then HSR lets you. A few characters have a special trick that lets you either run faster or add a special effect to the running. Or it's just part of their skill or talent. I may not be able to show a few of them since I don't have 3 of the characters that do have special talent run thing, but I have a few another few for it. For the actual exploration of the game, I will well the beginning part of that. I will say that's more limiting than Genshin, with you are allowed to explore it without needing to follow a straight line or a set area that has like barriers stopping you from going out toward the world, while Genshin is a bit similar, but you have a lot more leeway to do what you want, and it does let you go from the story a lot faster than WuWa. So with the other, well, I will say other two since I don't remember H's or third, Hungry Third. With DCZ being the world's limited to, aside from this places that you get to do stuff, but then the story, it's a set area where you just fight, and that's basically it. And the TV world, and where it's no longer there, so it's just mostly just go into an area, do whatever your task, and that's it. Which, and with HSR, it's mostly the same case minus the different area you get to go to. You're just in an area and where you can explore, but it's not that big. So it's just mostly exploring a building than a realm, where you can fight and enemies that are there. So that's, I guess that's the one thing I don't like, because I'm aware that there's more outside the area, but I'm being restricted from it. Like, maybe I have like a different take, since in Genshin, in the beginning, I remember after talking to Paimon unlocking the teleport thing from the beginning, I just mostly explored the inner area a lot more, and I got to do a few things and found a few chests and a few in the series from the beginning, until I felt ready to like continue with the story, till my curiosity got done enough to continue the story. And while this one, I did the same as, a full hour, I think, of exploring the small area we were given. But I would have liked to be able to explore more outside of it. Then knowing that the only reason why I'm being stopped is because of an invisible wall. But then again, some people be like, I wish they didn't give us this area, or I just wanted to continue with the story because that's what I care about. Well, I'm a mix of both. So that's a matter of opinion than a flaw, since some people would or wouldn't care about it. The environment of this game does remind me a lot of Genshin, mostly because of they do take real world places and try and not copy it, but make it into their own style of their world, of what they're creating. Saying how the colors of the trees mostly, and how the trees are structured as well, reminds me of Inazuma, Leeway, and how the earth, I guess, is formed, being similar mountains to the beginning of Mondstadt, and how the flat terrains being pointed up, and the high mountains reminding me of Nazuma, the main city of where the Sakura tree is at. and reminds me of the mountains in the Adepti area in Liyue. And I think it's pretty great that games can take real world examples or things and make them into their own unique thing. Even they're similar, it comes from a place of understanding that area, that culture, and how they put it into their worlds they created. So that that's a very good thing. That I like. I don't know why people are like com- complaining about how some things are similar. Things will be inspired by other things. So instead of trying to complain or compare, appreciate it, I guess. Since that's how creativity is born. With gameplay or combat, more in depth of it, I feel like I mentioned before, it's more in close line with Honkai Third and ZZC with the mechanic of you being to dodge, you being able to counterattack, you being able to switch and use ability instantly, or yeah, that. And where it's more you can have to focus completely on the battle instead of what rotation you need to do in Genshin team comp, I guess. Well, it's similar but more complicated, and where you need to do multiple things to do it instead of just simple attack, skill, or ult, or do something in a certain pattern for a certain character. While in the other three games require you to do the same thing but a bit more. If that's understandable, I guess. So with adding in a character's kit within that team being more complicated, where you need to do more steps compared to Genshin. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Either depending on the person, it could be good, bad. I'm in the middle of it, where I'm not against it, but I'm not with it fully. It can be fun if the character isn't complicated and where, I'm a casual player. I'm definitely not gonna go for. If a character is too difficult for me to understand, I won't pull for them. Or if I don't like their design, I won't pull for them. Even though they're stupid strong. That's how I am. And unless if they do, if it's a character I do care about, but their gameplay isn't it for me, I'm gonna. You can't blame me if I don't use them. Even if I do get sad, I don't get to use them as often as I would. So, yeah, that's basically my review of the first 2 hours of my gaming experience with Wuthering Waves. And I don't know or not you like it or not. So, I guess sub if you want to watch me stream it, or make another video of it, or suggest anything. I'm basically done for anything. It might take a while for me to to act on it though. No, yeah. Sub, please sub. Nah, I'm not desperate. Do whatever you want. Have a good day. Bye.